always important to improve whatever you do, whatever projects you have. I'm going to make a connection today between events, event planning, and our brain. Dr. Gregory says that we don't have just one brain, we have a triune brain. In evolution, we developed our reptilian brain that was more focused on survival and reproduction. So our central brain, our ancient brain, is concerned with doing, with surviving, with behaving. Our right brain is a mammalian brain, and it developed when there was a need to have families, to take care of offspring. So we learn to take care of one another, to have feelings, both good feelings and bad feelings. And our left brain is our logical, rational, human brain. Thinks through things. So we can define event planning from 3 points of view. We can look at it as a left brain event to give information, to give people, to communicate about things to other people. Our right brain enjoys the celebration. Events are celebrations. To be with other people, to participate, to be social, to use our imagination, to be creative, visual, dance, song, music, including religious rituals. And how does this connect now to our central brain, our reptilian ancient brain? Why? Because usually celebrations are about life, about birth, death, marriage, becoming adults. So the central brain understands beginnings and endings and cycles of life. So feelings are a primitive form of survival. So every time we have a good feeling, every time we do have a good feeling, we feel that we're on the right path for survival, that our chances of survival are good. We're optimistic. So for every good event, like marriage, like graduation, if we celebrate that, everybody is happy. And we increase our endorphins, brain chemicals. So what you are doing in planning events are giving people tools for life, tools for survival.
I'm going to go into some of the key things that we keep in mind when we do events. The first thing that we think about is what is the event aimed to achieve. That could be to change some politics, some initiatives or legislation, or to influence the funding of different programs that the European Union gives. And following that, we look into who do we want to come to this event. Is it certain politicians or public officers? Where are they from and what previous experience do they have? And based on that, we would decide on what type of event we would organize. So if it's one specific political group that we want to influence, we might have a shorter focused event, or if it's a global thing that we want to inform about, it might be a full day conference. We also, the next key thing that we decide is when should we have this event. That all depends, or it could depend on the legislative processes or a happening in the future that is decisive. And included in that, we also always try to keep in mind to plan it in advance to make sure that those people that we want to come can plan it in their agendas. Because it would be completely useless to have a great event if those people that you want to come cannot come because they've already booked their agenda. We also think about the length of the event, and also the length about the speeches, for example, in the event. Often in a political context, people are really busy and time is short, so often shorter is better. So it's always, almost always better to have a short, concise, and to-the-point event that is targeted than having a 2-day conference that gives you very little. And that also, if people can see that on the program that you make, that is going to be short and to the point, there is a bigger possibility that they come. That also means that it's very important to speak and explain to the people you have invited to speak, what do you want from them? Because sometimes or often speakers have a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise, but you might have a certain audience and you want them to underline certain things depending on the aim that you have for the event. And that might also include to enable people to take part of certain parts of the event. So if you have a half a day, maybe some important person can only attend 1 hour. So then it's important for him or her to be able to see in the agenda that I can't come until 11, but between 11 and 12, I can be there, so that they know that what will happen at that hour. It obviously doesn't mean that you shouldn't allow interesting discussions, but more or less keep the schedule that you've set. Another important thing then when we do events in Europe is to keep in mind that everybody does not speak perfect English. And so that means that you have to prepare or decide if you want to have translation, and also brief actually specifically the native English speakers to speak slowly. I think that is some of the key things, and following that we would also decide, depending on the aim of the conference, we would decide if we want to have press coverage of this event. So do we want to prepare a press release, for example? Do we want to speak to journalists to enhance the possibility of getting a topic raised on the political agenda? And also maybe follow up to this event so that you know, to get some evaluations from the participants and the speakers to know next time how you better can fulfill the aim of the conference and to please the audience. That's I think the key issues or the key things that we keep in mind when we organize events.